Hi traders, we're going to talk through the entry control data module within the new V 2.5 ARB release. What we have here is three data items. First one is the entry method, and we have two entry methods. We have a delayed entry method where the system will wait for the spread to break above or below the upper or lower trigger levels respectively. The spread must close above the trigger levels or below the trigger levels, and then once it does, the system will wait for one whole chart period. And if the spread is still above or below the respective trigger level, it will then send an entry active signal to the global variable table, which will then be picked up by the generic arbitrage engine. So essentially, once the entry active flag is set for either an upper trigger or a lower trigger, the system will then take the next trade when the spread touches the upper trigger or lower trigger level. So let me try and explain that in graphical terms. So down here we can see that the spread is oscillating around the lower trigger level. Let's assume that the spread actually closed below the lower trigger level, and we're looking at a 5-minute chart period at the moment. So the system would need the spread to stay outside or stay beneath the lower trigger level for 5 minutes. If in 5 minutes time, after the spread had closed below the trigger level, the spread was still below the trigger level, then the entry active flag would be set, and then the next time the spread came back to touch the lower trigger level, a long pair 1, short pair 2 trade would be placed. That's essentially how the delayed entry method works. The other entry method is touch entry, where the spread, all it has to do is simply touch either the upper or lower trigger level and the trade will be executed. Typically, touch based entries are better in a trending spread, whereas delayed entry methods are better when the spread is stationary, or in situations where you can see here where the spread breaks out of the channel and starts to become directional. In these situations, then a delayed entry approach makes a lot more sense. And the UT entry active and LT entry active flags just tell you that the entry is active for either an upper trigger delayed entry or a lower trigger delayed entry. So that's the entry control data module.